RTD Live Talk, Detroit's #1 late night YouTube talk show. We are live for another live stream, the 13th day of the month of July. Excited to be back after what seemed like a long weekend, but looking forward to checking in with you guys and finding out what's on your mind, as well as sharing with you a couple articles that I think everybody might know about as of now. But quick, I'm curious to get your thoughts on it. So, as always, welcome to the RT Live Talk. My name is Mike, the host of Detroit's #1 late night YouTube talk show. Looking forward to checking in with you guys. So, as always, give it a minute, let YouTube notify some people or not, and then we'll get into some articles, and then I'll open up the phone lines and love to hear what's happening in your neck of the woods. And as always, if there's any new viewers in the community, feel free to let me know via chat where you're watching from. Would love to acknowledge your presence and welcome you to the community. And so what else is also I'm curious to get your thoughts on a variety of subject matter. We got the California Shutdown Part 2. We have of course the mainstream narrative of just the all-time high and all types of things that's not good. Yet the equity markets still seem to be doing relatively good these days. So yeah, sending a lot of mixed signals and false signals, you name it. So with that being the case, let me acknowledge a couple of people, then I'll get right into it. Pay me money backs. It says it's getting crazy with places not wanting cash. So just from that little picture that someone sent me from a California area, I put that on all the social media, and everybody seemed to reply to it with more of their experience as well. As look, clearly it's a nationwide thing, but yet it seems to be getting the attention of people that's not in the alternative media realm. And so, of course, that's a good thing, because I hopefully from these events of there being a lack of coinage, that people begin asking questions, and then we can get into some more important things as to what people should be holding or getting out of to get into while all this thing comes rattling down. Farming the life, says Mike for president. Appreciate that, my man. That's not a position I would want to hold at this point, man. And so if you had a chance to watch this live stream for this past weekend, the Wise Talk, between now and November, a lot of things will have to go down in order for there to be any hope at the U.S. being able to get out of this year without all hell completely breaking loose. So, it's a lot of tough decisions will need to be made, but I'll pass on that one. Philman, how you doing, my friend? We got Sunset in persons always pay cash. Yeah, that's a good thing. We got Dreadhead Locks. We got Matt. So what's up, Mike? Crisis King, 100%. It's a California governor order shutdown. Yes, we're going to touch on that. Berkeley, California here. Chip, how you doing, my friend? Curious to find out your experiences from California, the area you're in, Berkeley. Are people actually paying any attention, or they ignoring it, or is life as normal, or what? I want to hear from you guys. We got Noomies, Bees, Dave from Buffalo. How you doing, my friend? How's life in the Buffalo? Good evening from Maine once again. Maine, what is going on in Maine? That's one area that I don't hear much about ever, and so curious to find out what life is like in Maine. And so Tom says, I'm waiting for the no cash market. Gets a full shopping cart of frozen food and meats. They check out, just walk out. So think about this. Also, along with just think about the steps towards removing cash. So ultimately going cashless. And so we heard about years ago the removal of high denomination notes. That's already happened in a lot of other countries. Eventually will happen here, but yet the coinage seems to be the primary driving force of limiting and opening up the window for the removal of our current national currency as we know it. And then I got an article here I want to share with you guys that plays right along with this whole lack of cash. And let me actually pull this up here, and I'll start off with this one because this one, it's a shorter article, but it caught my attention. Let me pull this thing up here. Where is it at? Okay, so here's an article here that came out of this was from Zero Hedge today. A real short clip, but yet it really plays into the shift out of the retail locations for banks. It says banks use this current scare as a cover to shutter branches across America. And so first thing came to mind was New York, and me having seen a lot of video footage out of New York and how a lot of retail places are shut down. Even the banking branches are also shut down as well, and therefore lack of ATM usage and stuff like that. And so here's a little short snippet here, but yet this is what caught my attention. It's this graph here, and it talks about over the last basically couple of years, there's been what looks like a 6% decrease, and this is as of 2018. So I'd imagine it might be a lot more by now, but yet the idea of closing down small regional or small local branches also plays into that whole coinage aspect. So as there's a lack of coinage, as we're being told, you also have a lot of small towns or just smaller areas in general that might be losing some local branches, therefore putting much more of a squeeze on people to go cashless in the form of the digital payments, of which is what they would want us to do. And from the articles or from the papers or pictures that have been put up, you see what they've been referring to as what they would prefer instead of cash or coins. It happens to be with, it says Samsung Pay, Apple Pay, as well as your debit card or credit card, or some places says, you know, the exact amount of cash would be okay, but it's just a matter of time before we move away from that. But here's this little statement here from Brian Brooks, who happens to be the Office of Comptroller of Currency. And he said the banks should not use the cover of this current pandemic to shrink bank branch footprints across cities and towns. And so I'm not surprised at all with being told that there's a lack of coinage. At the same time, the local branches around the country are closing down. And so I will be curious to hear, are any of you guys experiencing that? Anyone happen to live in smaller towns and you've noticed that there might be a couple branches that may not be open? And what's the response been in those areas? Curious to find out. All right, so welcome a couple more people in here. It says Ralph Looney said, I would be happy to exchange your fiat for silver, only 90% discount. If I get the chance, I would share. It says in Berkeley, there are pockets of people with logic and reason, but most are succumbing to the groupthink, mass, Black Lives Matters, etc. And so, yeah, it's one of those things where if the majority buys into it, it's going to be hard for the minority, as far as those that are not buying into this, those that are trying to put up some resistance to what looks like the groupthink model. It's going to become harder to do so, because there's a video I saw on Twitter earlier about someone inside of a big box retail store being told that they must wear a mask inside of it, and the guy just completely blew up on the person. And so I was talking to my wife today, like, you know, here in Michigan, as of, 3 or 4 days ago, Governor Whitmer declared a national executive order stating that pretty much you have to wear a mask at all times. That's basically what she's saying. And so they have actually people standing outside the door. And when I saw that, I just got irritated. And of course, I'd never want to just follow suit. So I try to throw up a little resistance. So I walked in with the mask below my mouth. And as soon as I got to the door, there's a couple people going in without a mask. So I was trying to shoot past the guy, end up getting past him. As soon as I got in, the next person's like, excuse me, sir, can you put your mask up above your nose? And so, yeah, I'll say sure. And then as soon as I walked in there, I was like, man, I can't breathe with this thing on. So, but yet it is here, man. It's the new norm. It is a new norm. All right. So let me get back in chat. It says, I haven't. I'll go tomorrow, maybe check out the bank situation. Yeah, I'm curious because I actually haven't went into any of the branches. I've done everything through the drive-through or ATM myself, but just don't want the hassle of having to go in and just see people who are clearly clueless as to what's going on, but they're just doing their job. So what it says here, it says lots of credit union branches around. They sprung up like weeds over the last several years. Ralph, I've noticed the same thing as well. A lot of credit unions, and not to say anything bad about the credit unions I've noticed, but a lot of them happen to be like what looks like Christian based in nature. Like we got all types of names referring to it being a more Christian centered denomination type of facility, and I'm thinking like, and it's built some nice pretty buildings. I'm thinking like, wow, like all that money spent for a building that's about to be empty pretty soon. Assuming they have to know, but maybe they don't. Truth or Nothing says that this heat in Phoenix, Arizona ain't nothing nice. Really, I don't doubt it, man. I don't doubt it. All right, so I'm going to get to a couple more articles, and then I'm curious to find out what else is going on in your neck of the woods, as I have a couple of things I want to touch on here. So the next one here is no surprise by now. I'm curious to hear some from people in California. California shuts down businesses, schools as this outbreak grows. And so I heard something that really caught my attention last night. Listened to another commentator talk about how the state of California is so bankrupt and so just at the point of ultimate collapse. Outside of all the extremely productive companies are leaving, therefore that's going to leave a large footprint of empty buildings as well as probably some unemployment and things like that. Then you have all the CalPERS, the pension situation out there is a complete mess. And on top of everything else out there, it's been a while since I've been to California, but I hear your stories and I feel your pain. But yet you have a bankrupt nation, bankrupt country, which happens to be the basically the biggest state as far as the GDP or the local economy, consumer-wise, going belly up there. And they're deciding to really press the limits this current summer to try to get as much aid as they possibly can get. Like this whole situation here about them shutting down businesses and schools and all types of things there, it's all about them trying to get some more aid. They're trying to put themselves in position to where only way Trump will be able to respond is by basically incentivizing them by offering some funds. And so it's unfortunate that they're holding the citizens of that state hostage. Like this is strictly a hostage takeover here where they're forcing people to relive the whole experience from a couple months ago at a time where, and the good thing about, people in California, you have good weather on the majority of places there year round. So you're good. But, an event like that, Shutdown 2.0 here in Michigan would just shatter. It would just ruin everybody's lifestyle completely because we only get 3 or 4 months where we can go out before it gets cold. So I want to hear from you guys, man. Give me the rundown on California. Where are my California people at? Let me hear from you guys. I'm going to open up the phone lines and let's talk a little bit. And I got a couple more articles I want to share. But I'm curious to really get what it's like on the ground there. Better get those gold backs if I live in Cali. I got one gold back for free. Yeah. And so referring to those Utah gold back notes. And so I think, especially in the area of Utah, in the area, I'm not sure what city it is, but in that local community there, I believe that those notes will obviously circulate pretty well and might serve as a viable medium of exchange. And don't be surprised if you see more people popping up with their own individual currencies, as in the little wood plank I covered up in Washington a while ago. Let me see here. Red Boy, he says, looking forward to hearing low blood pressure calling in. Hey, man, I appreciate the love offering. So, Mr. Low Blood Pressure, your presence is wanted. Oh, man, it says, Tony, give me the rundown on California, man. I'm curious to hear what's going on in your neck of the woods, man. How are things faring so far with this new reinstated Shutdown 2.0? King D says, coin shortage signs are everywhere here now. Even gas stations and little shops have them up. Right. So that's step one towards shifting our paradigms away from physical instruments to spend and to pay with and to collect back, all in exchange for the push to go digital. And then I got another article here I want to share with you about. Looks like more nations are now starting to talk about the central bank digital currencies, central CBDCs, as if right now anybody's surprised. Sunset says vaccine. We will have monthly stipend. Agree. Sunset. Okay. I do believe that politicians will definitely want to incorporate some type of restrictions on your ability to function in the economy unless you have been vaccinated. So, yes, I do believe that is the case. Now the question will be the time frame. And so I'm factoring in everything now within this year. And so I think this year will ultimately not determine, but it's going to be a good indicator as to how the rest of this decade will shape out. And so I'm not of the mindset that there's anyone out there that can save us. But then again, based upon several instances of prior performance upon this current administration, he's very disruptive in a lot of things. And I do hope that whatever is up his sleeves. And so if you guys had a chance to watch on Saturday, we're talking about the whole QAnon and stuff like that. And just the overall game plan of the so-called good guys versus bad guys narrative or whatever. But I'm hoping that between now and the end of this year, we have a better sense of real change occurring. And so one of the things that I probably wasn't going to touch on, but I'll do it tonight. I'm assuming you guys happen to follow the whole situation. Let me see. I'm not even going to put the word out there because I know the algorithms will definitely catch this, but I'm going to just type it in here. And so there's a certain word out there. I'm going to put it in here. And so I'm going to see if I can find this picture here. This picture here says 1,000 words. Let me see if I can find this thing here. And so, of course, I never really dive too deep in this type of stuff, but it's here. Everyone, some majority of the people are familiar with it, but I'm going to put this picture on the screen here. So when you type in the word, as you guys hopefully can see at the top of this page here, starts with a P. And so here's an interesting picture here. And so it's this information, is this type of stuff here that leads me to believe that there might be some activity happening underground that we don't know about, which could be led by some individuals that want to bring truth to the light. And so I'm gonna leave it at that. But here's a picture here, and I'm gonna click on it so everybody can see what I'm referring to. So as you guys can see the word here, I'm referring to this type of stuff here. You know, I never really dived into that, but yet I see some of the people on this. I see some of the people on this picture here, and it's one of the things where I've seen about a couple of videos where a couple people on this list, and maybe not be on this list, they have ankle braces. Like they have some stuff on their ankles in the form of, you know, monitors or tracking devices or whatnot that lead me to believe that there's some things happening. I don't really dive in too deep to it, but it's stuff like this that lets me know, unless this stuff is fully comes out and open and people find out about how bad and how infested our political scheme, our monetary system is, you know, how Hollywood and how all those people, you know, do what they do. Unless that stuff comes out this year, in the next couple of weeks and months, you know, just checkmate. You know, that's how bad things are. And to prevent all this type of stuff from coming out, I can see some very nasty things occurring in our country, are beyond what has already occurred. So, yeah, I thought I would just put that out there because I find it entertaining as I see more people being called out to the carpet and stuff like that. But yeah, anyway, man, Lacey Edwards, appreciate that. It says drive safe. What about the way? And so the whole Wayfair, I have not, apart from just glancing at the service, I haven't dived into it much because that's all incorporated with that same line of stuff there. And it's one of those things, until there's some truth bombs drop, some names exposed, people in handcuffs, tribunals, or whatever you want to call it, I don't really pay it much attention, man, just because it's one of the things where it could be false hope. This is distracting us from the true issues or other issues, which is happen to be our financial, monetary system as well. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Mike. How you doing? This is Steven in Milwaukee.
Steven, how you doing, my man?
Man, I'm doing good, man. I had to take a little break, man, because I'll be getting so upset with everything that's going on. You know, here's the deal, Mike, man. You, first of all, you're a great man.
I appreciate
you have
that,
wonderful teeth. I just want you to know your teeth need to be on TV. You need a commercial.
I appreciate that.
But, you know, I just don't like being lied to. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about our government. Just everything is a lie. So I'm not going to dive in deep. I just want to talk about face masks for one moment.
Okay.
They're pushing. So I'm in Milwaukee.
Okay.
They're voting on a mandatory requirement for face masks. They initially started with everyone that was 2 years old and up.
Really?
Then there was some pushback, and they went from 3 years old and up. Okay? And of course, we've got Madison, our capital, has already launched a mandatory deal. They're trying to push it statewide. And of course, you know, Nancy Pelosi is pressing the CDC to go nationwide. The one thing that I want to talk about is this. Why aren't they telling people about the health risk of wearing a face mask? I see people driving in their cars, windows up, face mask on.
With gloves.
I talked to a gentleman today. He was in Walgreens. He said a woman approached him and said, "Why aren't you wearing a face mask?" He said, "Look, it's not required. I'm not even 6 feet near you. Why are you attacking me like this, lady?"
Yeah.
So we're moving into a situation. Personally, I think they're trying to kill us. It's pretty obvious that in the fall, there's going to be some respiratory issues. You're breathing in a lot of bacteria, carbon dioxide, your own. This is a setup, dude.
Yeah.
I'm done. We got to fight back.
Hey, man, I appreciate you calling and share your thoughts. I'm definitely going to talk about this further. Thanks for calling, my man.
I love you, man.
Yeah, I love you too, babe. So, yeah, man, mask. And so clearly, because people don't question, and so one of the biggest, there's several big issues I have, but yet when it comes to wearing masks in general is the fact that we're just told to wear a mask. And of course, the primary gist of it is that it protects others from you. So it helps minimize exposure to particles or whatever. Okay, cool. But yet on top of that, it's interesting how we have Hanes who make underwear, T-shirts. They have a whole, and I walked into a Myers, I think it was Myers the other day, right in front center. They got a big little display, Hanes underwear mask. I'm thinking like, it's so bad to where they can throw out anything, and out of sheer fear, people will buy into it, and then they'll find out a way to make money off of it. So you have people, entrepreneur-wise, taking all types of stuff and putting their logos on top of something like when. So not only are you going to subject people to wearing masks, but then people trying to make money off of it as well by putting their logos and putting little funny things across. I'm thinking like more people are concerned now who bought into it with being able to profit off of it as well. So not only does it make us look like a fool, but it also provides funding for the big institutions. So I'm assuming Hanes and all types of other, I think Nike got one. And so I'm like, wow, like, might as well get the RTD mask too. So yeah. But anyway, man, so I feel your pain. I definitely, this is one of the things where it's unfortunate, but yet that's where it's going. And on top of, the people who will become very, what would you call it? Offensive / violent, you name it, when it comes to not wearing a mask or not. And that's just how it goes, man. Let's talk about it. So O'Dane for real says, Mike, did you hear the Gates family is now in New Zealand? I did not hear about that, but I remember talking about 2 years ago how everybody with large amounts of a lot of high net worth individuals had already years ago purchased property in New Zealand. So I'm not surprised at all. And I'm wondering, like, is anybody in New Zealand that might have seen a couple Americans roaming around the streets? And so here's the video right here. I typed it in here. So here's the video. It says the super rich escape to New Zealand for safety. And so this is a video I did. What was this? This was last year. But anyway, so I'm not surprised, to say the least. Mr. Call, let's talk about it. So this article here, let me see if I put it in here. It gave detail. Here you go. Open link. So this is the article I was referring to in this little video here. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Mike, it's low blood pressure, Corpus Christi. How's
Low
it
blood
going?
pressure. I'm doing good, my friend. How you doing?
Man, I'm helping you out. You're getting super chats. My daughter's like, hey, are you going to get a cut from that?
We can work on that, man. What's on your mind, man? How you doing?
Everything is good, Mike. It's just people getting stupid. Half the people here, they're not believing it anymore, Mike.
Yeah.
Everybody's laughing at it,
Yeah. They're laughing at it, but yet the thing is, man, it's still going to be a topic that we're all going to be divided amongst. We're going to be divided amongst ourselves. Those that believe it, those that don't. And we're going to end up fighting but those that believe will end up looking down and try to fight those that don't believe. Therefore, that's going to cause more division. So it plays right into their hands even more so.
I don't know, Mike. When's the end, Mike? When's the end?
When's the end? Man, my personal opinion, man, this entire decade will be the restructuring, reshifting of our entire way of life. So I don't foresee there being an end. And even when they get the so-called vaccine that they're telling us will be the way to get back to normal, that's just going to be another door opener to some more stuff. So there's no end, man. This is where we're at, and this is where we head from now on, man.
You see silver hit 19. What do you think? The big slam's coming, or it's going to keep skyrocketing?
It almost got up to 20. It's like 1960, so it almost got up to 20. And so I don't doubt that it's, I think it closed, just a little bit at 19 or whatever. So we're going to see this from here on out. And so it's going to be slammed down as well as going up. But the good news is you will not be able to get it for whatever price it slams at. So, I don't know I don't really care what the price is, because you won't be paying that actual price to get what you want. So they can do whatever they want until they can't anymore, my man.
Yeah. Right now, silver, the dealers that I deal with, I can't find anything. I could only find the ones with, I'm going to say a bad word, Queen Elizabeth shit. You know what I'm talking about? That's all you can find around here, Every time I look at it, I want to puke, I'll melt it down before. I don't own any of that, Mike.
Yeah.
If I had your address and I get one, I'll send it to you, because I don't want to look at that,
Yeah, so here's my thing is, like, I understand how, you have people who are loyal to or lack the, or don't have no interest in holding the Queen stuff. But I'm like, I don't care who's on it. I care what's in it. And so as long as it's something, if I know right now, not Silver Doctors, but SD Bullion, they have the Queen's coins, like low premium. So I'm like, I haven't bought none recently, but I will get them just because they're cheaper they're just as cheap as generic rounds almost. So,
that being my
silver.
I'll throw those things in a wishing well. I ain't touching that.
I hear you, man. Yeah, well, if you have something laying around, send them my way, man. I'll put them to use for you.
Okay, all right, Mike.
Appreciate you calling, man.
Thanks for taking my call.
Yeah, be good.
All right, bye-bye.
Oh, man. Good stuff, man. Yes. So what was talking about? Phone lines are open. Let's talk a little bit more. It says more stimulus is more tubes and cheeseburgers. Okay. What's so bad about generic rounds? Nothing at all. And so it's one of those things where at this current moment, it's more so about just having sound money in itself, being positioned to the point where you feel relatively comfortable as you can be, because you never know at what point this system is going to go belly up, and you don't want to be left holding a bag of paper at the end of the day, which will be a while from now, but we'll see. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Mike. Tim, calling from Colorado.
Tim, how you doing, my friend?
Good. I love low blood pressure, man. Shouts out to him. I love that guy.
Yes, sir. What's going on, man? How you feeling?
What was he saying? Don't go silver? I missed it at the end.
He was saying.
Sure what he said.
No, he was just saying he doesn't like the Queen Elizabeth coins, like the Canadian man, so Australia, anything like that.
I don't blame him, but hey, what's the deal? Because I haven't seen any deals. I love SD Bullion, don't get me wrong, but what's that going for? Like across the counter,
let me see. Let me see. I saw something earlier about they have their regular SD silver rounds were like $1.99 a spot, and then the Queen Elizabeth Canadian rounds were $2.99 or something like that. So, and then the American Eagles.
That's not bad.
Yeah, that's not bad. And American Eagles is like $7-8 or $8 or $9 for Eagles. But once again, that's those are dollars. So those are dollars, and I'll take a U.S. minted dollar any day.
Fiat crap.
Yeah. So yeah, man. What's up? How's everything in your neck of the woods with the mask? Everybody masked up out there, or what?
Yeah, I don't do any of that crap, man. But how are you doing? Because you're in a tougher predicament than we are. It's pretty easy going here.
Yeah, Michigan. Apart from Governor Whitmer, she's trying to bring the hammer down again, and so I'm not surprised. But yet, apart from going into big box stores, everywhere else I go, it's not enforced. Like today, I went to the gym, got a good workout in, and outside of just a sign being up there saying Whitmer said this, whatever. nobody in the gym is, really concerned with it, man. So I got a good workout in. And so my normal day, for the most part, is not interrupted primarily.
That's great. And you're a boxer, right?
No. I took some boxing classes, but never got. Yeah, basketball. So that was my first love. Yeah.
Yeah, basketball. Okay. Yeah, I was just trying to get it straight there.
Yeah, man.
All right.
But hey, man, good talking to you.
I'm sorry, hang in there, because your governor, I'm not saying mine's good either in Colorado, but your governor looks like a freak. That forehead's like a 4x8 piece of plywood.
Oh, man, yeah. I'll leave the how she looks up to you, my man. But I appreciate you calling.
All right. All right. Love you. You
love you too, man.
Okay?
Be good.
Okay.
Oh, man. Good stuff. Damn. Good to hear from him, man. So what else we got in the chat? See, we got some prices of spot here. So SD Bullion special, $2.99 over spot. Constitutional was 39 cents as a special as a Christmas. AppMax says 120 Eagle, 29.54. Whoa. Man. Okay. I'm digging the new wildlife coins, Wells SD. Yeah, I saw those as well. Haven't got any. And so, yeah, and that's where, like, me personally, man, at this point of the game, I'm not picky. I just need to make sure it's, it's real. It's pure. And I saw Tony said, 4 9s. That's one of the benefits of the Canadian boys is 4 9. So that is true. But at this point, I just want to have something physical, something cold in my hand. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Mike, this is Kevin from Southern California.
Kevin from Southern California. Give me some word, man. What's the word in your neck of the woods?
Well, right on. Well, we just got this order that came down today from our commie Gavin Newsom.
Yeah.
But, things have been kind of like ghost towns around where I've been working. People have been taking this mask order way too seriously, but we've got just a lot of people that have bought into the fear, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And businesses are just having to comply. And, we've got everywhere you go, you've got footprints on the ground telling you where to walk, signs everywhere telling you to mask up. Social distance. So you've got over here when on the internet, with the social platforms of the different cities and whatnot, where you can communicate. People are just arguing back and forth.
Yeah. Whew.
And so where I work, I'm a business owner and around the Orange County Airport area, and it's been quite a ghost town.
Yeah.
So high-rise buildings, parking structures empty. So it seemed like that things were starting to come back. Freeways were starting to open up or get a little more crowded, and then this happened. So it appears that it's all about just wrecking this economy here in California so that Gavin can try to get his bailout.
Yeah, man. So I appreciate you for calling in and sharing your experience, man. I definitely, and one of the things is it's in California now, but I'm more than confident that it's going to be spread throughout the rest of the country as well. And it might even make its way back here to Michigan, probably in the fall or winter time, to where it's going to really suck for us because we are already going to be on lockdown because of the cold. So that's a double whammy, man. So appreciate you for calling.
Right.
Get some more calls, my friend. Thank you for calling in.
Thanks, Mike.
Yep, be good.
Appreciate you. Bye.
Yes, sir. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from? Hello?
Hello, Mike.
Hey there. How you doing? What's in your mind? What's your name?
Cecil Brown calling from Hollywood, Florida.
Do me a favor real quick. Can you mute the YouTube video?
Beg your pardon?
I'm hearing like the double play in the mute. So I'm not sure if you're on your phone or your computer. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, I turned it off.
Okay. What's on your mind, my friend?
Well, these people down here in Florida around Tampa, it's ridiculous. And, they even drive around in their cars with masks on.
Yeah, I see my fair share of that here in Michigan. So, yeah, it's caught on, it seems. Now, what
you were talking about the price of silver?
Yeah.
It's not too late for you to get in on the currencies of 209 nations.
The current. Hold on, say that again.
That are going to reach that.
One more time.
Do what now?
No, I'm sorry. Say that one more time. The currencies.
Yeah, it's not too late to get in on the 209 nations that are getting ready to revalue their currency, and all currencies are going to be. I like the same. There might be a pennies difference in the currencies. It's going to be parity in the currencies.
Yeah. Now you're referring to the national currency, like the fiat currencies of different countries, or like one world currency, or what are you referring to when you talk about currencies? Paper money.
It's different nations. It's just like the euro. They're going back to all those countries, the 27 countries in the euro.
Yeah.
They're going back to their national currency, but it's going to be backed by something other than thin air.
Really? So you think you're referring to like actual them going back and issuing paper notes, or you talk about the central bank digital currencies where it appears that's what they wanted that's what they want us to go towards?
Well, if they do the digital currency, that's the mark of the beast, and these people that got all this Bitcoin and all this, they're going to get hammered because they're not going to give it up to those people. They're going to give it up to the banks or whoever. In my opinion, it's not going to be good for them, but they're going to have so much digital and so much cash, and I don't know how it's all going to unfold, but in my opinion, that's what's going to happen, and it'll probably be within this year or early next year. So
yeah. Well, hey, we will find out, but we know something is coming, that's for sure. So I appreciate you calling, my friend. Thank you.
Okay, Mike, have a good show. You always do.
Thanks, sir. Be good. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure we all can agree that, things are happening behind the scenes, and there's plans on our behalf, and we're witnessing how they unfold. And it happens to start with the excuse that there's no coins or a coin shortage or whatever they want to throw out there while certain branches are closing and things of that nature. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, pay me money bad, Plain Texas.
Yes, sir. I'm good, my man. How you doing?
I'm all right, man. I'm trying to give some hope, man. There is a brief solution, but like I said, I ain't no rocket scientist. I can't guarantee nothing will work, but I can say it's a step in the right direction if you ask me.
What's that?
If people want to see some change, we're going to have to do two of the hardest things. First of all, we got to come together. Second thing we got to do, we need private millionaires to come and form a group for the people, basically making the people a corporation. That's the only way you're going to battle the government. We don't have a military, so you go hire the private millionaires for the people, go hire people like those radical NFT, whatever those people, but they have a small army, but you have to form your own government because you have to fight corporations with corporations. Everybody's separated, everybody's segregated with opinion, color, food, whatever it is, all the way down to Tesla versus a regular car. Everybody's divided. So you need the people need to form their own private groups and then make those groups a corporation, form a corporation, and then you go into business that way.
Okay, so that sounds like something that would be interesting to try that, but yeah, at this current point, like getting that to going would be mighty difficult because how would we get everybody on the same page? Because you still got a small part of the population that thinks everything's fine. We just happen to be hit with some type of pandemic that's going to be solved when the vaccine comes, and so be patient, wait, and they're going to save us. So educating people on what's really happening will be another problem. To get them on board to incorporate to, so yeah.
Yeah, I ain't say it was gonna be easy, but like I said, if you can just, sometimes, man, you just gotta point somebody in the right direction and tell them to start walking and start from there.
Yeah. Hey, man, I hear you, and I appreciate your insight. And definitely, the more we talk about it, the more we can hopefully wake up individual people and try to make sense of this while we still can, man. I appreciate you.
Not a problem, bro. Yeah, we'll do it, Mike.
You too. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Mike. This is Ricardo from Texas.
Ricardo from Texas. How you doing, my friend? What's on your mind tonight?
This universal income or allowance they get ready to put out.
Yeah.
Talked to my wife about this, and I said, you know what? This would be a good way to get rid of Social Security.
Yeah. So that's a part of the equation, of course, because if everybody gets something uniformly, then it'll be a good way to say that Social Security was running out in 2034. We're going to remove that now, and we'll give you a little bit more according to how much you put into Social Security, yada yada yada. So I can see stuff like that happening.
Yeah, it's quite remarkable. There's not really too many people that's really saying that on YouTube or even in, of course, the mega media.
Yeah,
and it's quite surprising that everybody's like, "Ooh, I'm gonna have my Social Security and we get this $1,200."
Yeah.
The government don't care about you and I. So you got all these evictions like Texas, where they got what? I forgot the number, so don't correct me if I'm wrong, but it's huge. And the evictions, the California, Texas, and so forth, and the shutdown again of California.
Mm-hmm.
These people, they do really realize that. I hope they realize that the amount of crime
mm-hmm.
that's going to explode is going to be ridiculous.
Yeah. And so, and ultimately, regardless of how much they're able to dish out in the form of currency, you're still going to run short on the actual things you can go out and purchase, because a little bit of the resources that are left are just going to increase in price, which means you still won't have enough. So you're going to always want and demand more, because you're going to find yourself short of having enough funds to get what you need when you need it. So if people only knew that, they wouldn't demand it, but yeah, they don't.
Yeah, well, that's why we started a garden, and it's hard to find seeds. And if you walk around Walmart, even Lowe's, the plants outside are disappearing. They're not being replaced. The seeds, are getting gone real quick.
Yeah.
And that's all I just want to throw that out there about the Social Security being ready to go bye-bye.
Yeah.
Less than a year. I think less than a year is
Man, it'd be hard to throw time frames out there, but I feel just comfortable saying that I'm more than confident that it will occur within this next decade for sure. Like this decade, I mentioned like a year or two ago, is going to be where everything is going to be revealed, all the good and the bad, whatever that is. So, I think any type of fixed income in general, pensions, retirements, 401ks, all that stuff that we're promised, there's going to be some problems because you can't outsave the amount of currency they're creating. So you can't save enough to meet your needs when they printing and creating all this digital stuff without any concern. So, yeah. But hey, man, I appreciate you calling in. Thanks for sharing your thoughts.
Yes, sir. Have a good one.
Yep, you too.
All right.
Yeah, man, that is the truth. That is the truth. It's hard. It's hard. I mean, I can understand it'd be hard for a lot of people to accept that, but it is what it is. Pinhas, I appreciate that, my friend. Thank you for the love offering to the channel, my friend. What else we got here? Okay, phone lines still open. Let's talk a little bit more. What we got going on in the chat? UBI, how will UBI be factored the debts we have to pay? How will UBI be factored into the debts we have to pay? That's a great question, man. I think that as the debt continues to increase, there's going to be very little concern or regard as to paying things off. And so the goal, I believe, is to run this system into the ground by getting as much out of it as you can while there's still confidence in the currency internationally as well as domestically. So one of the things I'm interested in seeing is that how will you how will the taxes go in the next couple of years, knowing that this is all a part of the MMT. Government can spend any amount, but yet they also have to tax that as well. And so if people are strapped, there's minimum resources to actually go out and buy. And, the global trade will definitely break down. Just check your local Walmart electronics section. You see there's nothing there. And then you got stuff like this where it says U.S. budget deficit shattered 1 month record in June as spending outpaced revenue by $864 billion. And so you factor all this stuff in, there is no slow, easy, smooth landing for this current crash that we're experiencing. So I personally, man, I don't know how it's going to pay out, but I do know that it will be reflected in what people have worked for, saved, as well as anticipating on being able to receive as future promises. Because all this debt, all this borrowing, and all this stuff's being created, it's future income, future wealth that will never be created, that's being extracted and brought into today's economy to prop this thing up, knowing that there is no financial future for the unborn and our babies and everything like that. So, but yes, just my little 2 cents, man. Let me see. Alexander says, if the Fed printed money and instead of buying stock, it was given as UBI to the people, there is no debt to pay. Alexander, that would be great. That will be great if that was something that they were looking to do. But anything that the Federal Reserve is currently doing now, they're not really concerned about the people. And so it's all about propping up the system to stay in a position of authority over our national currency. So as of now, the moment that 107 years ago, when our national currency was privatized by being the rights to create credit and control the elasticity of currency and all those things that they were supposedly responsible for doing, I think it was the price stability and unemployment numbers came about, 30, 40, 50, 60 years after the initial charter. And so I don't really think they're really thinking about the Main Street people, you and I type of thing. So if they were to do that, sure. But based upon all the information that's coming out, let me show you another article with you. So here's another article here. And so all the mainstream news is doing right now is just continuing to drop little nuggets. Another round of stimulus checks, ? Extended unemployment. Here are answers to key money questions. So once again, this is the mainstream agenda as far as just continuing to put the news out there that be patient. They're going to have to do something. And they try to hype people up as to whether or not they're going to extend unemployment, the $600, or if they're going to be addition another round of checks. And as once again, the initial $1,200 that everybody received or whatever did what? When you have billions upon billions, if not trillions, being issued out to the financial institutions. And then here's another article here that I'll stop rambling. So last week, somebody called in and asked me a question about this program right here, the EIDL Advanced Program. And it says here, emergency grant program for small businesses is out of money. And so it says it ended this past Saturday after reaching its funding limit, issuing $20 billion to nearly 6 million businesses. So think about this. Those 6 million businesses that received some funds, they were all relatively small. And so it says here, it says the federal budget over grants up to 10,000 entrepreneurs, and I want to say 150 in funding for certain companies. And so between 10,000 to 150,000 was for this program here. And a lot of those individual companies and businesses that took these loans are the ones that are being told right now that they're going to have to shut down again. So what was the point in issuing this current, 2-month, 3-month allowance, in a sense, to then have to shut down again? So it's good to say if they really care, they would extend this program again. We'll see if they do. But once again, if the true enemy happens to be a virus and we keep shutting down after opening and closing, the spigot is going to have to stay on. And so why not just continue to why not just overstimulate people so we can speed this damn thing up? All right, so I'm ranting too much. Give me a call. Let's talk a little bit. Got my ride grant last week. What we got here? Would you say average stacker has more than 500 ounces or less? Says, would you say the average stacker has more than 500 ounces or less? I would say a lot less than that. The average stacker. And so when you use the word average stacker, you know, I don't typically like that word because it's, you know, stackers. Yeah, the mainstream media probably within the next year will brand people who are labeled stackers or preppers in a negative way, and they're probably going to be considered terrorists. Watch. Mark my words, stackers and preppers will be labeled as terrorists because they're hoarding. Hoarding is going to be a bad word when it's just you trying to protect yourself and preserve your wealth and provide for your family. Because that's not something that they want as a mainstream word, they're going to say it's a terror act of terrorism. Anyway, but I would say the average stacker has a lot less than that, just because unless you have been aware of what's happening as far as the implosion of our monetary system domestically and more so internationally, most people probably have already probably either jumped off ship and probably jumped on a crypto wagon. A lot of people, I'm sure, probably got rid of a lot of their stack for cryptos, whether as this thing was booming or not. They're probably late to the crypto party, so they probably sold a lot, or emergency purposes, they probably sold some, and just having the price of silver suppressed for 5 years now, almost. But a lot of people have lost confidence to where they probably sold their stack a long time ago, or a good portion of it, and now getting back into it. So I would say it's well less than half of that number for those that would be considered stackers. But I'm curious to find out in the chat. What do you guys think? JS says, man, probably a good question. I have just over 500, been stacking for 9 months or so, but I bailed on the market of stocks in October, November. What backs crypto? Yeah, I would say that for a crypto person. Average is under 500, man. I said, no doubt. I'm expecting the Feds to pull a shady move on us who preparing against their Ponzi scheme. Oh, definitely. It's called capital gains tax. So President Trump, a part of this next package, he wants to cut all types of taxes, payroll tax, capital gains tax. You know, he said nothing about abolishing income tax, federal income tax. That'd be great. And so you cut all these taxes, and you got numbers where you got the government borrowing, 864, not even borrowing, because borrowing means you paying back, but they're actually stealing 864. They stealing from future generations, 864 billion within a month, and this is just the beginning. So, yeah, they're gonna try to tax that. It will not be a smooth transition to whatever system they would like to roll out. And as I mentioned before, just thinking long term, man, like I would imagine, because we're in the technological age of everything being digital, that this will not be a simple reboot or restructuring or reset, because every country is involved. Every country has to be on board now. And so we see the central bank digital currencies being the primary tool they would like to issue before they completely remove cash and coins and whatnot. But I would imagine, the goal to really break down the human psyche, to break us down to our knees of complete desperation. They want this thing to last for several years. And so just look at the war on terror from what happened in 2011 or 2001, rather, September. It's been 20 years now. And up until the last 3 or 4 years, we were still in that war against terror, whoever we were supposed to be fighting against. And so they never rolled any of that stuff back. And it's been almost 20 years. So this right here this whole little pandemic situation can easily be a 5-year, 6-year ordeal on top of all the stuff that's going to happen in the economies and the political realm. So this is designed to be a long, drawn out, break everybody down to a point of desperation. And then they're going to roll out whatever they want to roll out. Programmable money. Go sit in a vault in your house, just sitting idle isn't very profitable. £10. Yeah. So that's the thing with gold. It's not meant to be profitable. It's just, it's just a chemical element off the periodic table that is valuable anywhere you look at it, any way you price it, any currency. So unless it's actually put to use, it's not supposed to earn any value or earn any profit or anything like that. It just sits and just looks pretty. But yet, it's an insurance hedge against countries and governments that will definitely destroy national currencies. Low Blood Pressure says, Mike, how's the credit card silver heist coming along? The credit card silver heist. Yeah, I think I'll hold off on running up credit cards to get silver in the short term. But yet, yeah, I'll keep that on the wraps for now. RTD COVID party. Alexander, what are we talking about with that one? It says, why do people think this will only last for a few more months? Man, that's a great question. I have no clue. Because people want, especially here in the U.S., people want to hold on. I guess it's false hope. They want to hold on that things will go back to norm. And that's how you can really truly tell that people are still asleep at the wheel, because if they have been watching how this has been unraveling for the last couple of years, and especially the last decade, as the economy truly never recovered, it was just plastered over with zero and ZERP and NERP and QE. And to have more of that would be more of a truth bomb, to where they couldn't solve problems 10 years ago. What make you think they're going to solve it this upcoming decade? And so that's a problem. But that's where we at, man. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hello, Mike. This is Avocado Joy from Tampa.
Avocado Joy, how you doing tonight? What's on your mind?
Oh, a lot. I've been looking at so many different areas of how this whole pandemic has been affecting us. Mm-hmm. And something recently that my friend brought to attention is there's something now called COVID divorce, where the divorce rates have skyrocketed since this whole COVID situation now.
I saw.
I don't know if
I saw something like that in China. So I think when in Wuhan area or something like that, when they were locked down for over 90 days, the divorce rate skyrocketed there. So I'm not surprised, to say the least. But go ahead.
Yeah. Last week I found out that my next door neighbor, she committed suicide.
Whoa.
Because of her marriage situation. And, all of us neighbors, we were alarmed about it. And it made me then look into how, and then I was even looking into how the children that are not really living in the best circumstances with their parents, how child abuse has gone up. So, I mean, this is affecting us on all fronts. I mean, it's breaking down the family household.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah.
I was just mentioning a moment ago how the ultimate goal is to break break us down to the bare minimum of in any form, and destroying the household is obviously a sign of what's going on top of the losing your job, finances. Yeah. And so I'm single, and I am now kind of like a little bit stressed because, I used to depend on going out to parties, going out to, events out, mingling with people. And now we're, the single group, we're now forced to online date, and how many people know how challenging that is, so it's a lot going on. It's a lot going on. Well, wish you the best as always. And I'd imagine because you're awake and aware that you're, as long as you connect with a community of like-minded individuals, that'll keep you somewhat sane. But yeah, I appreciate you for calling and sharing that, because I haven't touched on your COVID divorce before. So I appreciate you for bringing that to our attention.
Yes, of course. Thank you, Mike, for so much that you do. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank
you.
Take care. Bye. Yeah, man, that's real talk. COVID divorce is real. I didn't know they had a name for it. But anyway, people, we are at the hour point, man. And as always, it's good to hang out with you guys. And so let's do it again tomorrow night, same time, same place, Lord willing. And as always, if you guys come across any articles throughout the day or any subject matter that's worthy of bringing to the group's attention, feel free to shoot me a email. Just go over to the Rethinking the Dollar page. Go up to the very top, click on that email address there, and shoot your boy an email with some articles. I appreciate those that happen to send articles throughout the day. I definitely get a chance to look at them when I can and talk about them when I feel it's appropriate to do so. And so the Will and Jada situation, Will and Jada Smith, yeah, that was that's a hot issue right there. That's beyond my scope there, but that's yeah, for those that don't know what I'm talking about, check that out. But anyway, be blessed, be safe. I will see you guys later. As always, stay prayed up. Peace.